Hey, good morning, Algebra 1, periods 1, 6, and 7. It's Mr. Mays here. It's Thursday, and I'm going to put up a little video today on your graphing worksheet from Chapter 8. I'm going to put up number 26. Number 26 is a little bit different. It requires you to kind of dive back into that section you did on Chapter 9. So, anyway, I'm going to show this to you, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Chapter 8. Here we go. All right, so here's the problem that we face. Algebra 1, Chapter 8, Graphing Quadratic Worksheet. Number 26 starts off as y plus 2 is equal to x plus 3 quantity squared. That's really close to vertex form, but not quite. So if I was to move that 2 to the other side, if I was to subtract 2 from both sides, I could get it into vertex form. And vertex form would look like that. Y is equal to x plus 3 quantity squared minus 2. Now from that form, I can get the vertex. Okay, so I take that, what's in the parentheses, the x plus 3, and I set it equal to 0. And if I subtract 3 from both sides, you'll see that x is equal to negative 3. And then, of course, the negative 2 on the end, that's the beauty of vertex form. That's the y component of the vertex, whatever's hanging on the end. Okay? And we have yet to encounter this, but the coefficient in front of the y must be a 1 for this to work. Okay? All right, so now I know where the vertex is. Negative 3 comma negative 2. I got that. So the axis of symmetry, remember the vertex is on the axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 3. Okay? So if the vertex is at negative 3 comma negative 2, and this opens up, notice that that point, negative 3, negative 2, is below the x-axis. And it opens up, so it will cross the x-axis twice. And remember, every point on the x-axis has a y value of 0. So if I set that equal to 0, I need to go back to Chapter 9, and if I add 2 to both sides, I get 2 is equal to x plus 3 quantity squared. Now I need to take the square root of both sides. So when I take the square root of both sides, plus or minus the square root of 2 is equal to x plus 3. Okay? So x is equal to the square root of 2 minus 3 or negative square root of 2 minus 3. Notice the negative 3 in that. Negative 3 is the axis of symmetry. So from the axis of symmetry on the x-axis, you're going to go square root of 2 to the left, which is a little over 1, and square root of 2 to the right of that negative 3. All right? So your points will look like this. All right? That's what we got. Now let's graph it. So I copied your graph. Notice I put the vertex here. I put the vertex there at negative 3, negative 2. I drew my axis of symmetry, x is equal to negative 3, and then I went to the right, the square root of 2. And then I went to the left, the square root of 2. Now, what is the square root of 2? Well, the square root of 1 is 1, and 2 squared is 4, so it's somewhere between 1 and 2. And that's what I did. I just put a dot somewhere between, and somewhere between. I went over a little more than 1. I went to the right a little more than 1. All right? Now, I can find the x-axis intercepts. There they are. I can also find the y-axis intercept. Now, the y-axis intercept, if you put a 0 in for x, because every point on the y-axis has an x value of 0, you get 0 plus 3 is 3, and 3 squared is 9, and 9 minus 2 is 7. So there's my y-axis intercept. I know my scale's a little wanged up. But anyway, and it's symmetric, so I popped one over here. So I know my 5 points. I have my 5 points. Remember, you must have 5 points to graph a parabola, and the vertex must be one of them. All right, so that's number 26. That's number 26. So this required, that's why we went and did Chapter 9, Section 9.1 first, so we knew how to handle these x-axis intercepts. So that's number 26. All right, more to follow. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of number 26. I know you're all dying to get these done, and most of you are. I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so Chapter 8. I would really like to get this chapter finished up. We had a a goal set out there. I want to get through the quadratic formula. I want to get through most of chapter 10, and at this rate, we will make it. So I'm pretty happy about that. So that's one of those things that you have to be able to do to, show that you have you're an intelligent life form. You have to be able to derive the quadratic formula. And at the end of the year, I think that we should all be able to do that, or at least have a really good idea how it's done. All right, so that's where I'm at. So keep working on this. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep up the great work. I only got a couple of you that are not playing ball, and we're working on getting you going. All right, if you have questions, please ask. All right, May's out.